In the sleek glass towers of Summit Tech overlooking Puget Sound in Seattle, Levi Thompson stood frozen as his manager delivered the blow with a tight, professional smile that never reached his eyes. "I'm sorry, Levi, but the director position needs someone the board can fully trust to represent our values without any complications. We're going with Derek." The unspoken reason hung heavy between them like the Seattle fog outside the windows. Levi was openly gay, and in this corner of corporate America, that still meant he was a risk. 3 years of record-breaking campaigns, weekends sacrificed, and strategies that had tripled their client retention, and it all evaporated in one sentence. Levi managed a nod, his throat tight, and walked out of the office on legs that felt detached from his body. At 32, he had believed Seattle's progressive reputation would protect him, but the subtle glances in meetings, the way conversations shifted when he mentioned his partner, had always whispered otherwise. He sank into his desk chair, staring at the promotion packet he had prepared months ago, now useless. His phone vibrated in his pocket. Nathan, the one person who never made him feel like a complication. "Hey, babe." Nathan's warm voice came through the line, the background noise of his downtown accounting firm fading as he stepped away for privacy. "How'd the big meeting go? You get the corner office yet?" Levi closed his eyes, the city lights blurring through the rain-streaked window. "They passed me over, Nate. Caldwell basically said my lifestyle doesn't fit the image." Derek got it. "Because I'm gay." The words tasted bitter, but saying them out loud to Nathan made the knot in his chest loosen just a fraction. Nathan's silence lasted only a second before his tone shifted to quiet steel. "That's bullshit, Levi. You're the best they have. Come straight home after work. I'll order Thai and we'll talk this through. You're not facing this alone." Levi hung up, gratitude mixing with the anger still simmering. Nathan had been his anchor for 4 years now, ever since they met at a Pride planning committee where Levi was volunteering and Nathan was handling the finances. Nathan's family in Portland had accepted their relationship from day one, but Levi's own parents back in rural Oregon still sent holiday cards addressed only to him, the subtle erasure a wound that never quite healed. He remembered the Thanksgiving 2 years ago when his father had pulled him aside and said, "We just want you happy, son, but maybe keep it quiet at work. People talk." Levi had kept quiet for years before coming out at Summit, thinking honesty would earn respect. Instead, it had cost him the promotion. He opened his laptop, determined not to let the day end in defeat. An urgent email from the executive team caught his eye. The flagship campaign for their biggest client, Evergreen Health, was on the verge of collapse. The lead strategist had quit without warning, leaving data gaps, mismatched visuals, and a presentation deadline in 3 weeks that could cost the company millions if it failed. Caldwell had assigned Derek to fix it, but the file attached showed Derek's initial notes were superficial at best. Levi's fingers hovered over the keyboard. This was his chance to prove them wrong, even if no one asked him to. He forwarded the file to himself, packed his bag, and headed into the rain, the first spark of purpose cutting through the hurt. That evening in their cozy Capitol Hill apartment, Nathan greeted him with a hug that smelled of rain and lemongrass from the takeout. They sat on the couch, plates balanced on knees, and Levi laid it all out. The manager's coded words, the humiliation, the way the team had avoided his eyes afterward. Nathan listened without interrupting, his hand steady on Levi's knee. "You've always been the one who fixes what others break," Nathan said softly. "If you want to take on that evergreen mess, I'll help however I can. But only if it's for you, not to prove anything to them." Levi leaned into the embrace, the warmth of Nathan's chest grounding him. Yet inside, doubt gnawed. Was fighting worth it if it meant more isolation at work? His best friend from college, Marcus, had drifted away after Levi came out, claiming work got busy. But Levi suspected the real reason was discomfort. Family visits had become performances of politeness. And now the job he loved threatened to punish him for who he loved. Still, as Nathan kissed his temple and whispered encouragement, Levi felt a quiet resolve form. He would save the project. Not for the corner office they denied him, but to remind himself he was more than their prejudice. The night stretched long as he opened his laptop again. Nathan curled beside him with his own work, the two of them building a small fortress against the world outside. The next morning, Levi arrived at the office before dawn, coffee in hand and determination in his stride. The evergreen campaign files sprawled across his screen like a puzzle missing half its pieces. Derek's notes were already circulating in the team chat, full of vague buzzwords and no real strategy. Levi dove in, cross-referencing old client data, reworking the visual mock-ups, and drafting a new timeline that could actually meet the deadline. By 9 o'clock, the office buzzed to life around him, but he kept his head down, headphones on, ignoring the curious glances. When Caldwell walked by and raised an eyebrow at the late-night timestamps on the shared drive, Levi simply nodded politely. Let them wonder. At lunch, he met Nathan at their favorite food truck near the waterfront, the salty air mixing with the scent of fresh tacos. I found 3 major data holes Derek missed, Levi said between bites, excitement creeping into his voice despite everything. If I plug them, the whole campaign pivots to focus on community trust instead of generic wellness. Could actually work. Nathan's eyes lit up, proud and supportive in that way that always made Levi's heart skip. They had built a life together, quiet dinners, weekend hikes on the Olympic Peninsula, late-night talks about adopting a dog someday. But the promotion denial had stirred something deeper in Levi, a fear that his career ambitions might eventually force him to choose between success and authenticity. Back at his desk that afternoon, an unexpected call came from his mother. "We heard from your cousin that you didn't get the promotion," she said, her voice careful, the Oregon drawl thick with unspoken judgment. "Maybe it's time to think about how you present yourself, honey. People in business notice things." Levi's grip tightened on the phone. He wanted to shout that his work spoke for itself, but the old habit of softening his truth won out. "I'm handling it, Mom." Hanging up left him drained, the familiar weight of family disappointment pressing down. He pushed through, emailing a preliminary proposal to the executive team anonymously at first, then attaching his name after a deep breath. If they ignored it, fine. At least he had tried. That evening, tension crept into the apartment when Nathan suggested they attend his sister's wedding in Portland next month as an openly couple. "I want them to see us, Levi. Not just me." Levi hesitated, the memory of his own family's awkward silences flashing. "Work's crazy right now with this project. Maybe after." Nathan's sigh was soft but heavy. "I'm not asking you to hide us forever, but sometimes it feels like you're still protecting everyone else's comfort." The words stung because they were true. Levi pulled Nathan close, apologizing with a kiss, but the misunderstanding lingered like smoke. He spent the rest of the night refining the campaign, the project becoming both escape and proving ground. By the end of the week, whispers spread through the office. Derek was struggling, missing meetings, and the client had complained about delays. Levi's anonymous fixes had already been quietly incorporated, though no one credited him yet. Caldwell stopped by his desk once, eyes narrowed. "You working on something extra, Thompson?" Levi met his gaze evenly. "Just trying to make sure we don't lose Evergreen." The manager grunted and walked away, but the air felt thicker. Levi texted Nathan a single emoji of a flexed arm. The response came instantly. A heart and the words, "Proud of you." Always. In that moment, amid the prejudice and the pressure, Levi felt the first real shift. Not just in his career, but in how he saw his own worth. 2 weeks into the crisis, the project teetered on the edge of disaster. Derek called an emergency team meeting, his presentation riddled with errors that made the client liaison visibly uncomfortable on the video call. Levi sat in the back, notes ready but silent, until Caldwell finally turned to him. "You seem to have ideas, Thompson. Care to share?" The room quieted. Levi stood, heart hammering, and walked through the revised strategy, community-focused storytelling, targeted local influencer partnerships, data-driven adjustments that could turn the campaign around. Heads nodded. Even Derek looked relieved. The client smiled for the first time in weeks and extended the deadline by 4 days, giving Levi the window he needed. That night, celebration mixed with exhaustion at home. Nathan had cooked pasta, their small kitchen filled with garlic and laughter as Levi recounted the meeting. They actually listened. For once, Nathan raised his glass. To the man who saves the day without needing the title. But beneath the toast, Levi sensed Nathan's quiet worry. Their relationship had always been easy, built on mutual respect and shared values. Yet the promotion denial had exposed cracks. Nathan wanted more openness at Levi's work events, wanted to stop being introduced as my roommate in certain circles. Levi understood, but the fear of further backlash held him back. The following Monday brought a new complication. Marcus, Levi's old college friend who now worked in finance at Summit's sister company, stopped by unannounced. "Heard you're the hero on Evergreen," Marcus said, clapping Levi on the shoulder a little too hard. "Congrats, man. But word is Caldwell's still pushing back on your future here. Maybe tone it down a bit." The implication was clear, and it hurt coming from someone Levi had once trusted completely. Later, over drinks after work, Marcus admitted he had overheard Caldwell joking in the break room about keeping the team traditional. Levi felt betrayed, the friendship fracturing under the weight of silence. He drove home replaying the conversation, questioning who his real allies were. Nathan listened patiently that evening, but when Levi admitted he had downplayed their relationship again at the office happy hour, tension rose. "I'm not asking you to wave a flag, Levi. I'm asking you to stop erasing me." Levi's defenses went up. "You don't understand the pressure. One wrong move and I lose everything I've built." The argument ended with Nathan sleeping on the couch, the first real distance between them in years. Alone in bed, Levi stared at the ceiling, the internal crisis deepening. The project's success was coming, but at what cost to the man he loved? He resolved to finish the campaign stronger than ever, hoping the results would speak louder than any prejudice. The next days blurred into all-nighters, Levi refining every detail, Nathan helping remotely with financial projections that strengthened the pitch. Their texts remained warm but cautious, a fragile bridge over growing water. The presentation day arrived under gray Seattle skies. Levi stood at the front of the boardroom, slides perfected, voice steady despite the nerves. Caldwell and the executives watched as he unveiled the full campaign. Vibrant, authentic, and projected to deliver 25% higher engagement than the original plan. The Evergreen client reps clapped at the end, one even saying, "This is the turnaround we needed. Whoever led this deserves recognition." Derek shifted uncomfortably beside Levi, and Caldwell's smile was tight. For the first time, Levi felt seen for his work, not his identity. Back at his desk, relief washed over him until an internal memo popped up. The executive team was restructuring. Due to the campaign's success, they were creating a new senior strategist role focused on crisis projects, and they wanted Levi to lead it. The original director position remained with Derek, but this new spot carried similar pay and influence, and it was his. Levi stared at the screen, stunned. The last-minute rescue had not only saved the client but shifted the entire power dynamic. Caldwell's prejudice had been bypassed by results. He called Nathan immediately, voice cracking with disbelief. "They gave me the new role. Because of the project. I did it, Nate." Nathan's joy was genuine, yet Levi heard the undercurrent of hesitation. "That's amazing. But does this mean you'll finally let me come to the company picnic as your partner?" Levi promised he would, but the conversation left him uneasy. That night, they celebrated with champagne on the balcony, city lights twinkling below, but the earlier argument lingered. Nathan opened up about his own fears. Watching Levi shrink himself at work made him question if their future included full equality. Family pressure mounted too. His mother called again, this time after hearing rumors through the grapevine. "We're proud of your success, Levi, but please don't let it change who you are around us." The coded message was the same old one. Levi hung up frustrated, turning to Nathan for comfort. They talked late into the night about boundaries, about choosing themselves. For the first time, Levi admitted the promotion denial had cracked something open inside him. A realization that hiding parts of his life had cost more than any job ever could. Meanwhile at work, whispers turned to congratulations. Even Derek pulled him aside to admit the campaign fix had saved his own reputation. But Marcus's betrayal still stung when Levi learned his old friend had been the one feeding Caldwell casual comments about Levi's personal life. The confrontation happened in the parking garage, words sharp and final. "I thought we were friends," Levi said. Marcus looked away. "I just thought it would help you fit in." Levi walked away knowing some relationships couldn't be saved. The awakening was painful but necessary. The new role brought immediate changes. Levi's calendar filled with strategy sessions where his ideas were no longer second-guessed. Caldwell remained distant but professional, the prejudice still simmering beneath the surface. Yet Levi refused to shrink. He brought Nathan to the next team lunch, introducing him openly as his partner. The initial awkwardness faded faster than expected, a few colleagues even sharing their own stories of support. The small victory felt monumental. But success came with new tests. A major board meeting loomed where Levi would present long-term vision, and rumors swirled that Caldwell was quietly lobbying against further advancement for him. Levi poured himself into the preparation, late nights becoming routine again. Nathan grew concerned. "You're proving them wrong, but at what cost to us?" Their date night turned into another honest conversation about sacrifice. Nathan revealed his own promotion opportunity in Portland that would require a move, but he wouldn't take it without Levi. The choice weighed heavy: stay and fight in Seattle or build something new together elsewhere. Family dynamics shifted unexpectedly when Levi's father called unprompted. "Your mother told me about the new role. Sounds like you earned it the hard way. Maybe we were wrong to push so much." It wasn't a full apology, but the crack in the wall allowed a tentative bridge. Levi shared the news with Nathan, hope blooming amid the chaos. Yet betrayal struck again when an anonymous email circulated internally questioning Levi's focus due to his relationship. He suspected Caldwell, but proof was thin. Instead of retreating, Levi confronted the issue head-on in a private meeting with HR, documenting every instance of bias. The action was terrifying but empowering. Through it all, the relationship with Nathan deepened. One rainy weekend, they escaped to a cabin on Whidbey Island, walking the beach hand in hand. "I almost lost sight of why I fight," Levi admitted, waves crashing nearby. Nathan pulled him close. "You're not alone anymore. We do this together." The moment solidified their bond, misunderstandings giving way to mutual understanding. Levi returned to work renewed, ready for the board presentation that could cement his place. The boardroom presentation went flawlessly. Levi stood tall, data and passion intertwining as he outlined a future where authenticity fueled innovation. The executives applauded, and by the end of the day, official word came: the restructuring had evolved further. Due to the campaign's runaway success and Levi's leadership, the original director position was being redefined. Derek would move to a lateral role, and Levi was offered the full executive title he had originally been denied. The last-minute project rescue had not only saved the client, but forced the company to recognize talent over prejudice. Caldwell's influence waned visibly. Levi walked out of the building that afternoon lighter than he had felt in months. He met Nathan at their favorite viewpoint overlooking the sound, the sun finally breaking through the clouds. They embraced under the golden light, the city humming around them, years of struggle melting into quiet triumph. "We did it," Levi whispered. Nathan smiled, eyes shining. "No, you did it. And I'm right here for whatever comes next." In the weeks that followed, Levi implemented changes, diversity training, open policies, small steps toward a workplace that matched the city outside. His family visited Seattle for the first time in years, meeting Nathan properly, the conversation stilted but real. Marcus faded into the past, a lesson in choosing allies wisely. Through every high and low, Nathan remained the constant, their love the foundation that made growth possible. Levi stood on the balcony one evening, Nathan's arms around him, reflecting on the journey from denial to director. The prejudice had tested everything, but the rescue had rewritten the rules. True or false? Sometimes the biggest promotions come not from fitting in, but from refusing to hide who you are.